What up, everyone? This is Brenton.
And Jenna.
This podcast is all about connecting with our Autumn family in a fun and different kind of way.
So turn down that CB, buckle up, and enjoy the show. It's going to be truckin' awesome.
Welcome, everybody, back to the Autumn Transport Podcast. Happy 2024. It's a new year since we did our last podcast for you guys, and it's towards the end of January. I'm looking outside here, and there's absolutely no snow on the ground. It's 45 degrees. It feels like spring. It's incredible. Jenna, do you remember a spring like this or a winter like this?
Never.
Yeah, it's crazy how nice it is. And our guest today is pneumatic driver Roy Wallace. Roy, you picked a great day to come to Minnesota.
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful out here today. It's nice.
What brought you up to the office today?
I was just in the area, figured I'd drop by and say hi. I hadn't been able to come up in probably about 6 years, and I missed everybody and wanted to see all the new faces.
Nice. 6 years since you've been up here. Where do you call home?
I live in Lancaster, Kentucky now.
Okay. What's winter like in Lancaster, Kentucky?
Just a little bit warmer than here. Other than that, it's about the same, believe it or not.
Snow. You get a lot of snow down there?
Yeah. We get quite a bit. Not as much as we used to when I was a kid. I mean, I can remember when I was a kid, we get 4 or 5 feet, no big deal. Now we're lucky to get like a foot of snow during the winter.
Does it shut the whole state down like some of those southern states?
No, not that bad. No. You go below Kentucky, if it starts snowing, it shuts everything down.
Okay. Yeah, whereabout is Lancaster? You think, like, I know Louisville.
All right. Well, I'm 99 miles exactly from the center of Louisville, 34 miles southwest of Lexington.
Okay.
Right off of I-75.
But you're all the way up here in Minnesota visiting people. You got loads to pick up here. Pneumatics kind of takes you all over the place.
Oh, yeah. Pretty much travel all 48 states, Every once in a while we do Canada. I don't do much of that anymore, but I just enjoy driving around and doing what I'm asked to do.
How long have you been a truck driver?
About 21 years now, on and off. I did take a break after I first started. I hated it.
Really?
And I hated bumping docks in a dry van. And took a few years off, worked for Coca-Cola for a while. More work than I wanted to do. It was the worst job I ever had in my life. Thought it was going to be my dream job. And then I hauled heavy equipment for a while for a plumbing company. And I managed group homes for a little bit for mentally handicapped adults.
Wow. Okay. And then you got back into truck.
I got back into a truck, actually working for a little company, hauling carbon in a pneumatic tank. It's a little bit different than the pneumatics that I do here. There we unloaded in a slurry. We watered the trailer up and then shoved the product off that way. And here we do it all dry.
How did you find Autumn?
Actually through Chris Thomas.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Me and Chris is from the same area. We was both born and raised in Moorhead. And I didn't know him that well. And another one of our friends introduced us. And then I got to thinking, I knew him. He was actually one of my students when I worked at the high school before I started driving truck.
No way.
Yeah. I worked on computers for the high school, and I was over the Student Technology Leadership Program, and he was actually one of the guys in there. I just didn't know his name.
Wow.
It's been a while back. Yeah.
Yeah. So Chris he's pretty prominent on social media. He's been on a lot of podcasts. He does the Twitter thing and the Instagram thing. I guess then we can say all of his tech knowledge is attributed to you as one of his
I wouldn't
teachers.
say that. I wouldn't say that.
Chris, if you're listening, I think you owe Roy a pop or something next time you guys connect at a truck stop.
I can't drink that pop. That stuff will kill you.
Yeah. Well, that's something to talk about because I've been following you, Roy, on social media and Facebook and Instagram. What's your Instagram handle if somebody wants to follow you?
I can't tell you what it is on Instagram. I really don't know. Everything I post on Facebook, it automatically goes to Instagram. I don't even remember setting up Instagram.
Okay. Well, I'll look it up for you.
Okay, you do that.
We'll throw it in the show notes. So if somebody wants to follow along, but you've been kind of documenting this big health journey that you've been on.
Yeah, I have. I believe it was the 6th of March or April. I can't remember now. I got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. I tell everybody it come at the best time and the worst time of my life. My dad had died. I went the next day, and he died with ketoacidosis, severe problem with diabetes, and we didn't even know he was diabetic. Then the day after he died, I went and got some blood work done, and come to find out that I had type 2 diabetes. The day after we buried Dad, the doctors called and told me that I was going to die if I didn't start taking the medicine.
Wow. That was got to be a big wake-up call.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think they over-exaggerated, but like I said, it was the best time and the worst time that it could have happened because it really motivated me.
Right. You just still walking through that pain of losing your dad.
Yeah.
I didn't even ask, what's your family like?
My family, I've got 7 kids altogether. I have 3 children. Then my wife, she had 3 children, and we have 1 together.
Okay. So you did like the Brady Bunch plus 1.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And we've not had them all together in years. It's too much to handle.
Yeah,
that's a lot of kids. Jenna, you handling 2 kids.
Yeah, it feels like 7 though.
Oh, and I've got 3 grandchildren. I had to think there for a minute. Yeah, 3 grandchildren.
Are they all in Kentucky still, or spread out?
They're all in Kentucky.
So once you're in Kentucky, you just can't get out.
That's what they say. I mean, my wife's wanting to leave. She hates Kentucky, but she wants to go south. I want to go north.
Well, I'm sure that losing your dad and then getting that diagnosis, and then just thinking about your wife, who you obviously care a lot about, and all of those kids is something where you say, "Man, I need to make some changes."
Oh yeah, definitely. It made me change the way I was thinking, the way I ate, the way I exercised, moved, the way I worked, and everything. It really opens your eyes up.
Had you been at any point before that, into healthy eating or working out and taking care of your body and stuff like that?
No, I've never worked out in my life. I never worked out. I ate the most carby foods you could think of. I drank a lot of beer when I was at home. Yeah. Brewed my own beer, so I was really big into that. I just enjoying myself. And my life revolved around food.
We had the chance to have Amy Chambers on our podcast a few episodes ago, and she was talking about just the importance of the food that we eat and the choices that we make around that, and how we move our bodies and how we sleep, and all of these red flags for health that tend to go with trucking. Mm-hmm. You eat bad food at a truck stop, you're driving, you're sitting all day, you don't get a lot of time to move. And then it's hard to get a good night's sleep too, either because you're at a truck stop and other trucks are loud around you, or you're on that small little mattress, or you got to get up early to get to that next stop. How have you been able to adjust what you're doing out there on the road to continue to be a successful driver and yet take care of yourself the way you need to?
Working with my dispatch. They have been wonderful. I called them as soon as I was diagnosed and told them I had to change the things I was doing. I had to have time to work out, burn a few calories through the day. I had to eat at the right times, and I had to get my rest. And every 3.5 weeks, I had to go into the doctor. So they worked with me tremendously on that. They made sure that I was able to park up and eat by 5 o'clock in the evening. That way I could get 2 hours worth of exercise in. And just I can't thank them enough for doing what they've done for me.
What sorts of changes have you had to make? You mentioned just a couple of those, but maybe talk about your diet a little bit. How have you had to change that?
My diet. I started off, quit eating anything white.
Anything white? Okay.
Anything white. The only thing white I would eat would be cauliflower.
You can get that in purple.
Yeah, you can get it in purple too. I mean, it's sweet. I actually looked at some while I was at the house. It's rainbow colored. It was really weird looking.
Yeah, and then you can it's fancy cauliflower. It's purple.
Yeah.
So like bread, eggs, like you couldn't have?
No, eggs is fine.
Yeah.
I would not eat bread, anything that had carbs in it.
Yep.
So I cut out pretty much all of my carbs, bread, potatoes, just about any root vegetable because they're really starchy. Mm-hmm. And then cut out the soda pop, cut out the energy drinks.
Yeah.
Because I was really bad on energy drinks too. Didn't realize how bad they were for you until I actually sat there and looked at the nutrition facts on them, and them things will kill you. Started drinking a lot of water and figuring out just, the right proteins to eat and all that good stuff.
Now, has that been difficult to do when you're out on the road?
It is, but not as bad as what you think. It's easier for me to do out on the road than it is at the house because I grocery shop, I get what I know I can eat, and then that's all I've got in the truck. And it's not bad. I've made up my own recipes. got the right seasonings and stuff to go with it, so I can make just about anything taste good. But when I go home, you've got temptations everywhere. Of course, my wife is on her own health journey also. She's done really good with it, but we have to feed the kids at the house, and we don't want to force them to do the same thing we're doing, but they're learning that what we're doing is a lot better also.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that in my own life in times where I've tried to change the way that I'm eating and be a little bit more conscious about lean meats and eliminating some of the carbohydrates. And you didn't even say it, but I assume anything with the fake sugar in it has been a big red X.
Oh yeah, get rid of all the added sugars. And honestly, I eat very little natural sugars also.
Yeah, that's hard when you have kids, because so much of what we're told you can make fast, you can make easy for your kids, things, they've doctored food to make kids want it and be addicted to eating it. But all that stuff is just junk for your body. So.
Oh yeah, it's horrible. Like even a lot of people say, "Oh, it's all right for a diabetic to eat fruit." Watch which fruit you eat. That's what you've got to do. Me and my wife talked about it, and once you get diagnosed as a diabetic and you don't want to live on the medicine the rest of your life, you become a perfectionist. You're measuring everything out, and you're looking at the ingredients of every food there is, and if you don't know what you're doing, it's almost a little bit complicated, because I just about said, forget it. I'll stay on the medicine, because everything that I ate, there's something in it bad for you. But I learned how to work around that, and just started off, like I said, cut the carbs, cut the sugar, eat as much protein as I could, drink a lot of water, and I'm almost drowned yourself with water.
Did you get yourself a Stanley?
No.
Don't. They have lead in them now. It's coming out that they're not good for you.
I had an old Stanley when Stanleys weren't cool.
Right. There you go.
The old green coffee Stanleys?
You knew of them before they were cool, right?
Oh, yeah. And it's funny because years ago, my father had bought me one, and I made a post on it on Facebook about 5 years later, and told the story of my Stanley Cup and what it meant to me.
Yeah.
But that, is, the Stanleys, they hold a lot to me, but no, I'm not going out and buying one just to drink water out of.
When I heard you were coming up here, I think Mark or Josh, one of them was telling me kind of what they knew about your journey, and I connected with you on Facebook too, so I know what you put on there. But I thought it was Mark. I thought he said are you not diabetic anymore because of what you did, or is that not possible?
Doctors say you cannot reverse diabetes.
Right. Okay.
You can pre-diabetes. You can fix that, but they say you cannot reverse type 2 diabetes. I'm not on medication anymore. I control it all with my diet. And I can pretty much eat what I want now if I want, and it doesn't affect my sugar. I found a lot of things that contributed to diabetes, like inflammation, caused 99% of your diabetic problems. Gastrointestinal allergies cause a lot of diabetic problems, cause the diabetic symptoms, and you really don't have diabetes. So, and that's a lot of stuff that I cut out of my diet also. But yeah, they say you can't reverse it, but my sugar stays under 100 all the time.
Awesome.
No problem whatsoever.
How has that impacted how just you feel throughout the course of the day as you're driving and doing the things that you need to do with your job?
I've got so much energy anymore. I sleep good at night. I've got energy during the day. I would say, I've always been a little bit hyper, but that's because I was hyped up on all of the energy drinks. I'll sneak in a low carb energy drink every once, a Rain or something like that aren't quite as bad for you. I'm not condoning drinking Rain, but it gives you a little bit of energy boost. But yeah, I've got more energy during the day. I'm in a better mood all the time. My joints don't hurt anymore because I got rid of all that inflammation. I dropped my cholesterol in the midst of all of this. Dropped 100 pounds in 4.5 months.
Wow, 100 pounds.
100 pounds in 4.5 months, and dropped my A1C from a 9.7 to a 4.8.
Wow.
That's amazing. Way to go, man.
I appreciate it.
It's got to feel so good, too, when you're home and doing things around the house or playing with those grandkids now, and you can move your body and not get tired and be engaged with them in a whole new way.
Oh, yeah, it's wonderful. Just the mobility that I've got back with it. It wasn't only, a fight against the diabetes. The way the doctor said, "Oh, you're going to die without the medicine." It freaks you out. I feel like I got a new lease on life.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And you were able to enjoy that and take a trip recently.
Oh, yeah. Started out as a joke with my wife, and we ended up going to Hawaii, surprise trip. Spent Christmas in Hawaii. First time I was ever on an airplane also. So it was different.
What did you think of flying? Were you pretty nervous?
I love it.
Yeah.
Of course, I got a window seat, from when we left Lexington, Kentucky, and then went to Chicago O'Hare. And that was a short flight, but I got a window seat on that. And my wife was like, you're so hyper. You're so hyper. You're like a little kid in a candy store. I was like, I love it. This is awesome. At first I was nervous. And then after we got up there, I was like, this is not bad at all. It's pretty cool,
For sure.
And that was a short flight, but then it was 9.5 hours from Chicago to Honolulu.
Went back and then all the way across. That's pretty crazy. But
Yeah.
I guess that's the way they do it.
Yeah, it was sweet. It was nice.
Yeah.
You were in Honolulu?
Yeah, we stayed in Honolulu. We were a 3-minute walk from Waikiki Beach.
Oh, nice.
We stayed in a condo there. We rented a car to get around in, but if we ever go back, we'll not rent a car. You can walk everywhere you want to go. Or there's buses to take you out to other places.
Yeah, it's a beautiful spot.
Oh, yeah, it was gorgeous. And the food's wonderful. Of course, I pigged out while I was there. I had something that I swore I wasn't going to eat anymore, and I had rice 3 or 4 times a day, full of carbs. I did gain a little bit of weight while we were gone. I've already lost all that back since the 6th, 7th of this month. Yeah, I ate like a pig while I was over there. But my sugar never got out of whack.
That's good.
Well, I remember one of the things Amy told us was that when she works with clients and helps them with their eating, that they don't ban any food.
Right.
There isn't, because that just makes you want it more, right? But learning how to eat in moderation and learning how to balance. Okay, I'm gonna have a little carbs with this meal, but I'm gonna make sure I get all of that protein that I needed,
Right.
and all those other good things that are gonna bring some balance to that. That sounds like you're kind of experiencing that with the occasional rain or other things like that, where you're not completely cutting it off and saying, I'm never going to have this again, but getting yourself in a good routine so that it is more just that treat
Right.
from time to time, rather than that being the main staple of what you're eating.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and I do have cheat days. I'm not going to lie to you. I have what I call carb up days. It's sort of like carb cycling, but I don't do it every week, like 2 days no carbs, 1 day high carbs, 1 day low carbs. About every 3.5 weeks, I'll up my carbs probably about 30 or 40 grams a day. And then that gets my metabolism gives it like a little regeneration, and it starts thinking, oh, we can do this again.
Are you using some sort of an app or something to guide or track what you're doing?
I am doing it all in my head. I've got friends that I've helped do this, and they're using apps, and it works for them. And I've thought about going ahead and doing an app, but I have learned what carbs and what sugars are in what foods, and I've learned what proteins that I can eat and how much I should eat a day. So I just got it all in my head. But now when I post what I'm eating on my Facebook group page, I'll actually, this is what I've got. This is my total carbs. This is my total sugar, and this is my total proteins. I don't count calories, because I did find when I keep my carbs as low as I keep them, I don't have to worry about calories. The only time I have to worry about calories is if I eat a lot of pork rinds.
Okay. What is that Facebook group all about?
It's just to help people that are diabetic to learn how to eat. It's a small group right now. I'll post a meal idea every day or a snack idea, give people hints and tips on certain, I guess you call them spices and herbs that you can take to help manage your diabetes, to help get the sugar flowing through your system and out of it, to help with inflammation. And if anybody's got any questions, they can ask me. I won't tell anybody to do anything. That's just a lawsuit waiting to happen. So I was like, this is what I do. You can follow.
Okay.
This is my opinion. This is not a professional medical.
I'll find articles every once in a while. I posted one the other day. It's called Knowing the PhD, which is the proper human diet. And I just found it, and come to find out, I'm pretty much doing exactly what this, and it's a doctor that used to prescribe all kinds of medicine, take care of this. And he's like, this ain't right. I'm going to teach people how to eat. So,
Cool.
so I find different stuff like that. I was blessed to be able to, I'm not the smartest person in the world, I'll go ahead and tell you, but I could cut through the jargon and what doctors and stuff, they won't tell you. So I figured out how to interpret things to make it work for me. And everybody's body's different, so you have to find what's going to work for you.
Right. If people are interested in following along or following that page and being part of that group, want to share, what's the name of that group?
Oh, the name of it is Type 2 for the Long Haul.
Type 2 for the Long Haul on Facebook.
That's on Facebook. I've got a YouTube channel up. I've not made any videos, but it is registered, the same thing, Type 2 for the Long Haul. You'll bring it up and it'll have a before picture of me, which was taken 3 days before I was diagnosed, diabetes at 300 pounds.
Wow.
And then 4.5 months later, there's another picture sitting there right beside it of me at 200 pounds. Wow. So you can see the difference that happened that quick. Now, I will end up changing that, but that's just something I could throw up there really quick.
Yeah, that's super motivating. Do you find yourself talking with drivers out on the road at all about this kind of stuff? Or
all the time.
All the time?
All the time. Especially when I was really, really active, when I like exercising every time I stopped and stuff like that. I would be walking around the parking lot, stuff like that. And people's like, you walk a lot. And I was like, well, explain to them what I'm doing. And they're like, oh man, that's wild, and it's actually working. I was like, yeah, losing the weight, my sugar's coming down, all this other stuff. I've got other drivers here at Autumn that I talk to on a daily basis and try to help them out. One of our drivers, he actually got diagnosed before I was, and he didn't know what to eat. Hard to figure things out. So I actually started figuring things out to eat with him before I got diagnosed. And it just so happened, I was diabetic too, and then I went at it even a step further.
Did you have to give up the beer brewing business?
I've not brewed any beer in a long time. I've still got 4 kegs in the basement that's not been tapped.
I think that's one of the first things I heard about you when I started here at Autumn, that there was a guy in the pneumatics division that did a bunch of homebrew. Yeah,
and I was on the verge of, I was going to open up a brewery. I'd already started an online apparel store to raise money to open a brewery. And then I got this, diagnosis. And it's like, if I can't taste the stuff anymore, I'm just not going to do it. I'll eventually get back to it. But I'm going to work, I've always written my own recipes on the beer, so I'll eventually get back to it and do a low carbohydrate beer. I think I've already figured that out on how to do it. Figured out how the big breweries are doing it.
Yeah, like the Michelob Ultras.
Mm-hmm. And it's as simple as putting Beano in it.
Beano?
Beano eats the extra carbs out of the beer after it's already fermented.
Huh. What was the name of your beer business?
Kentucky Monkey Brewery.
Kentucky Monkey Brewery.
Yeah.
It's a tongue twister.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's like, well, how'd you come up with that? And I was like, well, I thought it was funny. And then my favorite beer to brew was a Hefeweizen. It's got a banana and clove flavor. And I was like, how could I do this? And I was like, bananas. Okay. A monkey loves bananas. It's their favorite food. So we come up with it that way. And then I had another driver that worked here at the time. He helped me come up with my logo. He made shirts and stuff like that. So he helped me come up with my logo. Cool. The apparel store is still there, but it's shut down. I'm not selling anything.
I was going to say, that'd be like vintage now. I need to get my hands on one of those Kentucky Monkey shirts.
It's funny because I've got a jacket that I'll wear around that's got the emblem on it and everything. And people are now recognizing it.
Really?
Oh, it's funny. People I don't know or whatever, I'll walk around, man, I like that. Where can I get one of those at? Where's that brewery at? Stuff like that.
Ooh,
it's like,
wow.
Well, one of these days it might become, might become a thing, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So have you been with Autumn? You said it was 6 years ago that you were last here. Was that for when you started with Autumn, or
no,
how long have you been with Autumn?
I'm going on 8 years at Autumn.
Okay.
Going on 8 years.
And did you come here with the truck, or have you gone through our lease purchase program?
I've leased and purchased 2 trucks through Autumn. Paid them both off.
And you've paid them both off in 8 years. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And what are you driving now?
Right now I've got a 2015 Coronado glider kit. It's got a 93 model Detroit block in it. Best truck I've ever had.
And that truck's been on our social media from time to time. It's white and blue.
Yeah.
You got some of the blue highlights and striping on there. Designed yourself?
No, actually, another driver that was here, he bought it, and he decided to go on another business venture, and I bought it off of him, but Autumn financed it for me as a lease purchase.
And that's been a good experience?
Yes, it's been a great experience.
I know Jenna's and Mark are always talking with drivers that are interested in coming to Autumn and sharing about that lease purchase program that we offer.
Oh, it's as far as I'm concerned, I tell everybody it's the best lease purchase program there is. I mean, the buyout isn't that much. The down payment isn't that much. If something happens to your truck and you need a little bit of help, Autumn helps you out and won't starve you to death getting the money back. You set up payment plans.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's so hard to convince people that it's really a good thing. That's like the hardest thing I do every day, because there's so many bad leases out there. We've talked about it on other episodes, but I don't blame them. They get screwed. They have a bad experience, and they talk to me, and they think I'm just another little POS lying to them. I'm like, no, man, I don't know.
No, the lease program is awesome here. If you're going to go, a lease purchase or owner operator, whatever, this is the place to go. I love it. I mean, it's home. I've told Josh, our general manager, several times, like, besides when I was thinking about, opening up the brewery, I was like, I'm not leaving. I, told him that the other day. I was like, you're not getting rid of me.
How long are you typically out on the road?
Used to, I was out for a month and a half, 2 months at a time. Last year, I had to go in every 3.5 weeks for doctor's appointments. It just depends, it depends on what I feel like and all that. You name your own home time, and you don't have to argue about it. You just call dispatch and say, hey, I want to go home. Give them a week or two notice, and they'll try to work you home.
And you've been in the pneumatics the entire time?
Yeah, I've been in pneumatics the entire time.
So you've been working with Julie for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Love Julie to death. She's wonderful.
What are some of the products that you haul in pneumatics?
Haul a lot of beer malt.
You weren't like saving a little bit in the trailer and putting it in a bucket for your brewery, were you?
I wish you could, but they're all sealed. You can't do that. So I was having to buy all my own stuff.
Get to the tank wash and tell them, hold on, I'll help you clean out that leftovers.
Oh, yeah. But haul a lot of that, sugar, flour, salt, yeast, lime, sand, anything that's powder, we haul it.
Yeah. And what are some of your favorite, not customers, but maybe some of the areas that you've been to? Is there a favorite run or a haul that sticks out of something that was really memorable that you really enjoyed?
Anytime I can get a load to Louisiana, I love it.
Louisiana.
Love Louisiana, but that was because of the food.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I can't eat it anymore. I was down there here a while back, and I was like, okay, I'm going to have a cheat day, which I didn't mean to have the cheat day that I did, but everything I had was deep fried. I hadn't had deep fried food in months. That was a mistake. It tasted so good, but it was a mistake. At first, I thought I was having a sugar high, and then I realized, no, it's the grease.
Yeah. Once you get your body to that state of like just clean and feeling good, when you start to introduce some of that other stuff back into it, you can really feel it. It really messes with you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, my wife, she learned also, after we got all the carbs out of her system, because she's on this health journey too. She's not diabetic. She's pre-diabetic, but she's done really good with it. And when we started following basically the same dietary plan, lifestyle, if she would have carbs after that, she would swell up. And I do the same thing. Not quite as bad as she does, but she's learned, okay, I can have a little bit. I can have a French fry, or I can have a slice of bread or something like that, but we're going to call it quits there. And we've both realized that. But yeah, once you get that stuff out of your system, if you introduce it back too quick, you're going to mess yourself up.
Yeah.
What have you found too about, I know like what's huge for me is like something looks good or something, I know something tastes good. Like that's obviously huge. Like flavor and presentation and how things look are what you want to buy. But a lot of times that's not what's best for you, is what I've learned. And I will admit, some of the stuff you post, it looks like mush. Like it's not cute.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, yeah, some of it is like
how
that.
do you get over that? Like what, I don't know, did you notice that at any point where you're just like, okay, it's like really hard to make this, but this is what I need. This is what my body needs. I don't know. Did you notice anything like that?
Yeah, but once you put it in your mouth, you're like, how would I ever go without this?
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't posted like what I had for dinner last night. My wife had actually fixed a cabbage casserole. And you would think, that just sounds nasty. It tastes just like lasagna.
No way.
Yeah, and it don't look the best in the world, but it is
That's what I'm saying,
delicious.
right? It's not always like appealing to the eye.
Yeah, and I do, some of the stuff I make, it just looks horrible.
Yeah.
But that's part of the fun, okay, I made it. It looks like crap, but oh my God, it tastes good.
Cool. That's good. Yeah.
When you think about food and you know, how we used to eat. If you go way back, it was just a piece of meat and it was raw vegetables or cooked vegetables, but it wasn't made to sell to the masses. It wasn't made to present on Instagram.
Right.
And all of these things that we've sort of trained ourselves to expect out of our food. People ate to live, and they ate the things that helped them live, and it wasn't about all the experience necessarily around the table or on the plate. It was what's nutritious, what does my body need to function? And we've gotten so far away to that, to your point, Jenna, where now we want this fancy plate with some weird little color on it, and you got to have a green and a red. And it's not about the protein and the fat and the carbs. It's more about making it look nice.
Right. I mean, like I said, some of my stuff looks bland. Trust me, everything I fix is not bland. It's usually actually pretty spicy. Oh, yeah. Everything that I fix usually has crushed red pepper or cayenne in it. That's just because that's good to get your metabolism going. It starts your thermic effect up, which burns more calories.
Yeah.
And it helps move the sugar through your blood and get it out of your system.
Gotcha.
I've always known spicy food was the way to go.
Oh, yeah. When I first found out about it, an article I read, it's like, you really can sweat the fat off. And that does it. You eat your spicy food if you can handle the spicy food. And it actually, I think the way that I read it was your body gets so warm on the inside that it tries to cool itself. But you can't eat too much spicy food and throw your body into hypothermia while you're sitting there sweating to death. So you got to be really careful with it.
Well, I appreciate you talking about this. I following along and seeing your weight loss journey. I've just been really impressed with your dedication to your health and maintaining your business. Like, you're still been successful driving. And,
oh, yeah.
You're a favorite of your dispatch team. I've heard a lot of good things about you, and I've never heard a phone get slammed down and someone yell, "Dang it, Roy."
It's happened once. Not with the current dispatchers, but
we all have our days.
One of our managers is still here, yeah. He slammed the phone down on me a couple of times.
But I saw you pull in today and thought, man, we need to grab him and share this story because it's so inspiring. It has to be, you said your wife's on this journey too, and I can't imagine your family has not been so impressed to look at you and seen the weight loss and the dedication and the changes that you made.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's always commenting on it. At first, everybody's like, "You're losing weight too fast. You're going to get sick," that kind of stuff. I did lose it fast. I didn't get sick. But, when everybody told me, especially, the doctors said, "You're a truck driver. You can't do this." I had to prove somebody wrong.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, that's like, "You're a truck driver. All you do is eat and sleep and sit, eat, sleep, and sit." So, well, that's what I used to do.
That's a horrible way to look at it. Like, just another thing to add to things that doctors say that don't support us.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I'm not saying doctors are bad. They misinform you a little bit on accident because they don't know. All they know is the medicine. Push the medicine. They don't know the natural side of everything. They don't know how to explain. They'll say, "Oh, you need to eat better." Well, what do I need to do? I don't know. Just eat better.
I know.
Just quit eating red meat. That's it.
Yeah.
So everybody's different. Everybody is different.
Right.
And so you've done a great job of learning what your body needs and how your body responds, which can be a bit of work. A lot of people don't want to do that work.
That was a lot of testing my sugar. And my wife did get on to me for that because I was checking my sugar every time I ate something. I would check it before I ate and 2 hours after I ate to see how my body would respond to the carbohydrates and sugar in every one of the foods, because I already had it in my head that everybody's body was different. She's like, "Oh, you're self-diagnosing." Yeah, I was. I was diagnosing what my body would do with that type of food.
Yeah.
So, and that's what it takes to figure out how your body's going to react. Because I may eat a piece of bread and it throw my sugar out of whack. You can eat a piece of bread and you're fine. That basically means you got less inflammation in your system and you can do it. But once you get all that inflammation out, your body can start processing the sugar again. It unclogs your insulin receptors so you can process everything.
Nice.
What piece of advice would you give as sort of like a wrap up here to a driver who's listening to this and they're diabetic, they're pre-diabetic, they don't want to become diabetic? What piece of advice from your journey would you share with them?
My number one advice, and you're going to think this is crazy, is Don't take advice from anybody that's not been there and not able to fix it. That's what I've told everybody. Other than that, learn your body. You really need to learn your body, what your body can do, how you process your foods. I may be able to process more proteins than you. You may be able to process more sugar than me. So you just got to learn what your body can do. Don't tell anybody you can't do anything. Experiment on yourself a little bit. Just learn what your body can do, and you'll be fine. Drink lots of water. That's my biggest thing. So what I tell everybody to start out with is drink water. And it's like, well, how much water to drink? It's like, well, take your body weight. If you weigh 200 pounds, divide that in half to 100, and then take the pounds off and put ounces on the bottom of it. So you want at least 100 ounces at minimum a day of water. You try for 1 ounce per pound, but you minimally want the half an ounce per pound.
And you're still able to get to your deliveries on time? You're not stopping to pee every 5 miles?
My bathroom habits are mine.
Not public knowledge here.
You go to the bathroom a lot. Trust me. I mean, from the 90 miles to get here, I had to go like 4 times. I drink close to 200 ounces of water a day.
It plays a big role. I know Amy, when she was here and subsequently talking with her, that's like her number one tip. Drink enough water, drink more water.
Mm-hmm. And the big thing, what stands out in my head on that is, like I said, you're actually fighting inflammation. And, if you look at the word inflammation, it means in flames or on fire. How do you put out that fire? You put water on it. So use the water, put the fire out, get the inflammation out of your system, find out the right herbs that work for you. Because believe it or not, there's a lot of natural herbs and spices that are amazing.
Oh yeah,
that would get rid of this
garlic.
stuff.
Don't they say you can put like an onion on the bottom of your foot and it'll suck out all the toxins like overnight if you sleep? I mean, there's so many remedies. Honey. I don't know.
Yeah, I got to stay away from honey. I can tell you that.
A little bit of sugar. In
I
that.
love it. But yeah, garlic, cinnamon. Just if you get on my group page, I did list helpful spices and herbs.
Cool.
That have helped me along the way. And drink beetroot juice. I used Power Beets powder. Drink that. That will flush your system out. That's what lowered my cholesterol. It's delicious. Don't look at me like that, girl.
I'll
take
your word for it.
I've got some out in the truck. I'll fix you up a bottle.
Cool. Yeah.
All right.
And if you have any herbs you're thinking about trying that aren't on Roy's page, make sure you talk with our safety director, Chris Senti, first about any of those questionable greens that you might be putting in your system to be healthy.
It's funny because I did call in, during the midst of all this, I was dealing with it and still on the medicine, and I was like, has anything changed? Can I do anything with CBD in it? Because that medicine is so much better. No.
Definitely not.
I was like, I know I cost myself a drug test. I was like, no, we trust you. So,
Jeez.
So we'll link to your page and we'll link to your Instagram and stuff. But Facebook group, if people are interested in connecting with you and learning more, type 2 for the long haul.
Type 2 for the long haul. It's TYPE, the number 2 for the long haul.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Roy, for taking some time here with us today. We really appreciate you sharing your journey.
I appreciate y'all having me on, and thanks for taking an interest in it. It's very important to me.
Of course.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to the Autumn Transport podcast today. You can connect with us on Instagram or Facebook at Autumn Transport. We're also on Twitter, and we'll make sure we link all the notes and connections with Roy so you can follow along with him as well. Drive safe, everybody. Bye.